see me every Friday on Facebook Live, 10 a.m. We'll see you. Come join my evil empire and try to stop my evil plan. It's the Josh Show. All right. Hi, and welcome to the Josh Show. Take two. Ding, ding. Anyway, so, once in a while when I'm still trying to work on my video editing stuff today, but and I've been trying to do that for a while. I had to find a better way of doing this, but for right now, this is the most cost-efficient way of me doing it. And for some reason, my tablet does not, or my not tablet, my Chrome laptop does not like when I share the screen when I'm on Facebook Messenger sometimes. So it's like I don't know what to do. So guys, today we're talking about love, and why sometimes love can turn into you wanting to be in love so bad you hate it, or you were so much in love now you hate it. And I don't think we really talk a lot about what's going on with the actual reasons that we put these little labels on ourselves all of the time. Now, I'm a married man, and I'm very much in love with my one true love for me. But love is not always defined by one person to one person relationship, however you want to define that. I don't care what your sexuality is, color, race. Age is a little bit of a big thing for me because at least if you're 18 years and older and you're marrying some old dude, at least I don't feel so bad there. I don't really believe in the pet love or the child love, okay? I'm not into all of that. I was abused when I was young, and there was a moment where I thought maybe I could go towards the dark side, but then someone in my life made a horrible decision, so I didn't go down that path because I saw what happened to them, and I was like, nope, not going down that way. Why is this saying Unity? I got it. That would just create feedback. Ooh, look at them trying to stop my evil plan. And you want to talk about evil plans? Okay, love. Love can sometimes be an evil plan because sometimes you want it so bad that when you finally get it, you wish you hadn't created the plan. Sometimes you've been in love for so long, you have no idea what it's like to be out of love. You were in love for a long, long time. We always want to talk about these kind of but there are different various kinds of love. There's puppy love to obsessive love to I want to murder you in your sleep love because you just crushed my heart into 1,000 pieces. And a lot of people talk about the positive emotions around this holiday. And those are great, but we don't often talk about the icky feelings that come with this. Well, let's say you fall in love with someone who doesn't love you back. Okay, guilty. Okay, I had a relationship like that once. I fell in love with someone who didn't love me back, and it nearly destroyed my heart. And not only did it destroy my heart, but at the time, but she wasn't who I ended up being with in the later ends of my life. The one I'm married to now is not the one I had an obsessive love with, that who didn't love me back. Now, I had to say to myself, what am I doing wrong? I asked that question for a long, long time. You may not be doing anything wrong. You're just willing to accept a certain parentheses of acceptance of what acceptable love is. Now, I was a depressed, shy, young boy who barely had a girlfriend, let alone went on dates. And then when I finally saw someone I was actually really attracted to, and I thought, man, maybe she could be the one. And for a long time, at least we had a decent relationship. And it was just a friendship on her part. On my part, I was in love. Now, she told me over and over and over again how she did not want to be in love with me. I didn't want to listen. Now, because I took it upon myself to put more on there that wasn't really there, I, got depressed. I thought about suicide. I thought my life is over because this woman will never love me. I did things I can't even imagine, conversations I would have never had if I ever thought that there could ever possibly be a different way of just existing, if I could have just accepted that we wouldn't have been anything more than friends to the very end of our friendship, maybe we'd still be friends. But because I was a dumbass and I made some really bad choices, I didn't do anything too harmful, hope, to that young lady, and she's let me know that I haven't. I did make one big mistake. I'll tell you what. We all talk about these moments when you get really, really drunk and make poor life choices. Well, I made a poor life choice, but it really didn't turn out in anything like criminal. But I got laughed at because, well, let's just face it, I'm a big guy with a tiny wee wee. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to the universe that I have a small wee wee. Okay, that's not the most important part. The feelings and thoughts that we have during this process is of what it starts with. Now, yeah, we've all had the young love. Oh, maybe I love a teacher who doesn't love me back in return. Somewhere inside of ourselves, we know that that really isn't going to work unless you have a really seriously bad background that you just don't know why it would ever do that, why it would ever work. But when you're a 6-year-old boy and you're looking at your male teacher for the first time and you're going, I wonder if he'll be my boyfriend. All you really think about is the word boyfriend. You don't think about anything that comes with it. It's just you want someone who will love you, just no matter who you are or what you are or why you are. People are, a lot of people have this debate about who deserves to be in love with one another. Who cares what anybody else thinks unless it's the other person who doesn't want to be in love with you? Okay. Now, if you're dating and you're finding out yourselves and you're trying to figure out how this relationship is going to work, you're going to go through everything from I'm so in love I'll do anything to God, I'm so in love I'll do anything. And it's just it's doesn't seem like it's one of those really hard life choices you think you should be making in life. But when you're talking about the way you feel in your heart, your head, or all of this emotional craziness we call a brain, it sometimes mind body doesn't always sync up. Your body says yes, your mind says no. Or your body and mind says yes, they say no, and that's an important thing too. You know what? If there go, I'd rather you go hire a hooker than rape somebody. Okay, at least she's getting paid for the work she's doing. Okay, she's getting paid to love you for however long she's going to love you for that one moment. If all you really need are your jollies, both men and women have tools at our disposal that we can use without anybody else's experience there. Okay, sometimes self love is just as important as other love, and that doesn't mean necessarily the sexual kind, too. The thing I had to realize before I was really, really ready for love was what don't I like about me first? And then I had to say to myself, well, what do I really want? Yeah, beauty's great. And I want to be attracted to the person that I want to be loved with. But when you're a big guy like me, and unless they're into big guys, that you don't really end up with the model girlfriend sometimes. Sometimes you end up with the awkward girlfriend who turns out to be more of an awesome wife, but it wasn't because she was quote unquote stereotypical beautiful, but maybe she wasn't as beautiful as Brooke Shields or Britney Spears or J.A.W back in the day, whatever, Marilyn Monroe. But she was beautiful to you. Her soul was beautiful to you. When I stopped asking for the pretty picture to go along with the prettier picture on the inside, when I started asking myself, what do I really want? I want someone who will trust me, love and accept me for who I am, be able to pull up with my kind of crazy, and you all know my kind of crazy, so, and someone who will stick it out through me through the worst times, who will celebrate the life moments with me and really embrace this world, And it seems like I don't. It shouldn't take that much of a leap of faith to say to yourself, until you can love yourself, you can't love anybody else at all. And sometimes, if you don't love yourself enough, no one will want to fall in love with you because you'll hate yourself so much. You'll stink. You'll look bad. You won't even try. You'll just be like, oh, I'll turn around this corner and I'll bump into Mrs. Right and boom. Well, Sometimes that works. Sometimes that doesn't work. Me and my wife, we met in the most craziest of circumstances. She'd been coming into the store where I worked for months before I finally noticed her, and she's a heavier set woman, and she was that way when I met her. She was that way now. I don't care about her size, weight, or anything. It's not exactly like I'm skinny mini here either. So how can I, put upon labels and stuff like that when those real things really shouldn't matter? Personality matters. What you guys have in common, but you got to have some differences in there too. You've got to be able to say to yourself, hey, I don't know if this person doesn't always like something, but I do like something. Sometimes you got to find that compromise. Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? I'm not into knitting with you for hours on end. I'll let you go knit while I go back and watch Netflix for hours on end. Sometimes you need that kind of a break, even in a beautiful marriage like me and my wife. You know, to this day, I still believe that destiny, fate, whatever you want to call it, came to our aid and said, hey, you stupid people, stupid man up here, look, this woman's flirting with you and you're not noticing. I mean, really, come on. And yeah, at the time she had very short hair. She wore dark glasses. It looked like she could be a bigger person, and I admit it, I thought she was a man at first. Not that that would have bothered me. I'm a bisexual man too. So when she was saying, look, and then I heard her voice, and I'm like, well, at least she's doing an incredibly good job with transitioning, and that wouldn't have mattered to me. You know, I don't care if she was once a man and became a woman. If she loved me and I love her back, what does that matter? Now, I know some people are going to say there's some kind of love out there that's just wrong, and there are things that harm other people physically. Abusive relationships, don't do it. Obsessive love, don't do it. You know, I'm too sick in the head to have love right now. I better go get myself better kind of love. Not the I'm just in love with you for the moment. But once you finally get to know them, and you really ask yourself, why am I with this person? I mean, I love to hate you, right? Because it's a very thin line sometimes, that love hate relationship, but it's really more about the ins and outs of love. You're not going to be, I mean, yes, you can be in love with someone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm not going to say that can't happen. I can say you can be in love with someone the whole point of your life. There are people who love Jesus so much they've decided to commit themselves to that. Or a cause or a mission. It doesn't always mean romantic love either. Or different varies of love. I do all of this creative stuff because I wanted to share my love and my, you know, lifeline with everybody out there. I didn't always know what I was doing was going to be anything really important. See, I've got the all rugged look in the blue. I'm having a Valentine's episode in blue because sometimes love makes you blue. But I've also got the red hat back there. It's a balancing act. There are different colors in the rainbow depending on what you fixes. And they're going to say, some people say races shouldn't mix, people who are same sex shouldn't mix, people who shouldn't do this kind of stuff. If you're a legal aged adult and you want to get into some kinky shit, as long as it's consensual, fine, do that. If your fantasy is a part of that, as long as you're following the basicer rules and you're both okay with that kind of stuff, who cares? You want to walk around naked in your own home all day long, and who cares if anyone sees you? So be it. But, I mean, some people have a love of books. Some people have a love of a certain country they like to visit once every so many years just because they love the culture and the way people talk there and whatever. There are different ways and craziness of things you can talk into and want to love right now. I mean, we're finally getting out of this pandemic. They're finally starting to bring down mask restrictions and stuff like that. And there are a lot of things out there going with people saying to yourself, well, what do I want out of life? I mean, and that's not always an easy question to answer. There are a lot of little questions that have to be answered. Now, maybe you were born better than me and you knew exactly who you were. You knew exactly what kind of love you wanted. You had your ducks in a row. But sometimes even the love that can be incredibly healthy at one moment can become unhealthy because you had some delusional ideas of who this person really was until you really learned who they were. We're talking these people who, yeah, you fall in love, you get married, you spend the rest of your life together, it's happy, but it doesn't always work like that. I don't know too many people who found the one they were when they were 6 years old and stayed with them until they were old and gray. I know a lot of people who had various datings, had breakups, had re-breakups, had double, triple breakups, had I'm in love with you again, I'm going to love again, I'll be better, blah, 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 blah. And that's not always for the bad, nasty stuff either. That's just because my personality quirk is a little bit weirder than you can handle. Well, then, you carry a torch. And then you wonder, your torch. Oh, there's the torch. Gotta get that torch. Ooh, where'd it go? Where'd that torch go? Ooh, new torch, new torch. Oh, yeah. Oh, ooh, torch! Yeah, this is the love of my life forever. Yeah, yeah. 50 years later, yeah. Oh, damn it. Now they passed away. So you can find love in all sorts of different things. I guess I just want you guys to realize that this holiday doesn't always have to be about the romantic kind of love. I love movie. I love a Jabadier movie any more than anybody else can do. Okay, I watch musicals. I am a bisexual man. I don't dress up in drag or anything like that. Well, kind of in a way I do. But that's because I'm just really fabulous. And that's a shout out to my LGBTQ friends because you are all fabulous. Every last one of you. I don't care if you're binary, asexual. Sometimes sex has nothing to do with it. Just you want someone to spend the rest of your life with. You don't always want to have sex with it. And you're asking yourself, well, I'm 16 and I haven't had sex yet, so I'm a loser. No, don't fall in love because of that kind of. Find someone you can care about who can care about you back in return, or something you can care about. A career can be something you can love, but you can grow to hate a career. You can love to hate. You can hate to love a president. You know, it doesn't matter. There's nobody chink armor in this world. There's nobody. You find me the perfect two people in the universe who existed, except for maybe Adam and Eve or whoever came out there. I happen to think there were probably like 50 Adam and Eves. We're just, the one that survived out of all of those things. And I'm talking about this form of it, not a white person, just this form of human being, Homo sapien. That'll be Homo sapien plus before you know it. Then we'll be androids walking around going, let me. Hey, mechanical love works, people. If you want to spend $1 billion on a sex robot that fulfills your every desire, well, when they finally, break their heart and they end up murdering you in your sleep, well, I hope you have realized the consequences that maybe installing that emotional chip wasn't such a great idea. Or maybe we'll never get to that point. Maybe we just think we will because we're so conceited to think we know everything there is to know about love. Maybe that alien race that finally hits us, or how we all, young boys, we always thought about those Amazon women who came from a distant planet, or girls who thought about those fire department people, or some kind of fantasy that they fell in love with. Not necessarily a person per se. It was a job. It was a profession. It was a success, money kind of an issue. They're more in love with what that person represents than what the person actually is. If you're in love with their money, you better love that. You don't care about anything but that money. As long as you both just saying, you know what? Here, I'm just going to be straight with you. I'm marrying you for your money, but I will put out. But if you need to go get you somewhere else, we don't have to be married for that shit. We can still be in a relationship, but we don't have to be married for that stuff. You can have an open marriage. Hell, you can have multiple wives. I don't know why would anyone want to do that, or multiple husbands. Is there a group of people out there who have a bunch of husbands out there? A male harem instead of a female harem, and we have all these crazy ideas of what we think constitutes these really really big things. My evil plan is all based on a giant ask from the world. I want you to love your God so much that when I destroy the world, you'll all lovingly go to your heaven, and I will all lovingly go to hell. And so when anyone says you're going to hell, I just say, yeah, and your point is, you know, I'm a witch. I'm a bunch of I'm every weird thing you probably I'm society's worst nightmare, except for being typically white. Oh, as typically white as this funny bastard can be. It's not always about the ins and outs of what you can do or who you do. It's about finding it. Now let's talk about the love you find in here. Okay, the love you find in here. And I'm not talking about conceited love to the point where you love yourself so much all you want to do is look at yourself. Well, fine. Family love. Okay, if you want to get into some kinky stuff like that, I don't mind the role playing. So, but actual brothers and sisters, if you're both consenting adults and you ran away to some country where that's not a weird thing to happen, I don't care where you live in part of the country. Just because if you just turned 18 and you want to marry your stepdaddy, I don't care. But it's not about the how awful love can be. I mean, how many times do we say to ourselves, why did I have to fall in love with that? Why did I have to fall in love with this or that? You can fall in love with something that you do or want or who you want to be sometimes. And when you finally get there and you're actually doing that, it's like, nope, didn't really want to do that, did I? So, I'm not the expert. If you came here for an expert, please go to a different channel. I'm talking out of my butt. I'm giving you my life experience opinion, maybe. I hope you come here and find me somewhat hilarious. I hope you agree with most of the things I say because, my plan is to bring us close together. Now, the evil plan actually is I want you all to come watch my show so that you will learn how to work together as a community and community love. And I'm not talking about us all having a mass orgy before the world ends. Maybe that could be fun too, but whatever. Hey, at least we're all consenting people at that point. It's the world's ending. Who cares what happens at that point, right? Well, maybe, maybe not. If you have zombies chasing you down, I don't know how much time you're going to find to fornicate, unless you can find a nice quiet place and you're allowed or quiet or whatever. It's interesting to find out what we'll put up with in love too. Now, there are some kinds of loves that I adamantly disagree with, like an abusive relationship, whether it's physical, mental, even spiritual. Sometimes you're forced to love somebody's religion that you really didn't agree with, but because you love them, you changed everything you were so that they would love you. And then 20 years later, they decide to become the exact opposite, and you're like, well, what the hell happened now? And now you don't love them because they no longer believe the same way you do. Okay. Then, we all have to learn to walk away sometimes and just say, I'm thankful we had this relationship and it's going to hurt, but I'd rather break up with you or stop being friends with you or stop hurting myself so much that I hate myself to the point where I don't want to be in this world anymore. Or I finally accept myself for who I am, what I really want, what I really want to do, and what I want that love to look like in 50 years if I get that far. I'm lucky I have had 15 years of great, wonderful marriage, but we started at 16. We're going to be coming up on our 16-year anniversary, and then now we'll be coming up on our 17th year together. And you're talking. That's why I'm talking in the 20s and stuff, because that's my life experience. I don't have all the knowledge in the universe that tells you I know my stuff. If you watch any of my episodes, you know that I don't always make it right. It's not always the perfect ending to whatever. It just is what it is. It came out when it came out. And it's like I don't know what else to tell myself to become that person I need. That person will love me. Hey, did I finally find it? I did find it. Hey, Maybe you're a tiger. Maybe you're a mouse. Who cares? There are different things that they say. Hey, your astrological signs match. If you're basing everything off of everything, as long as you are being truthfully honest, that when you say you want to love that astrological sign or you want to fall into the whatever quote unquote normal viewing of what the world's supposed to look like, well, then it takes some time to find that stuff out. You don't always know the answers to that all the time. As we are working towards these, moments that we are getting into what we consider our life's dream and mission to be here, you can go to a million astrologists and never find true love. You can go to a billion dating apps and never find anyone to connect with. You might be able to find a hookup, but not a soulmate. You may be able to find someone you at least love enough to say, well, at least this is better than nothing for right now. And some people fall into those really dangerous traps where they're being abused by a spouse, or they're being taken advantage by that other person, or they feel like they're being taken advantage by that other person. Your thoughts and feelings are always constantly changing and evolving. And theirs are too. I will say there are some things you have to be able to do if you want a successful relationship. Sometimes you have to let go of your own ego. You have to let go of your own wants and needs, and sometimes you have to say their needs are important at this point in my life, not always for the future. So things can change. Sometimes you do everything right. You had the perfect life together, and after the kids leave, finally you start looking at your wife and spouse, and you're both looking at each other and going, I don't love this person anymore. It happens sometimes. Divorce is not a pretty thing, but that's why there's an escape hatch for some people. Some people believe once you're married for life. That's an old NWO reference, if you know what NWO was back in the day. But I guess my only piece of advice for all of you as you're watching this episode today is ask yourself just one thing more than any other question. Are you ready for it and all that it comes with? Whether, or, if I'm really ready for that and I really think I'm worthy of that, then do the best you can to be that part of you, that best part of you that can come out to at least allow that to happen. When you hate yourself so much you don't want to even be in this world anymore. And I have been one of those people too. I've lived the Renaissance. When I say choose your adventure life, I really choose my own dang adventure. I opened it up to some pages and I'm like, oh, I wish I had thought that person was worthy of me rather than the other person who didn't want me. Take a deep sip, deeper drink, of the life you really want to live. So, on this Valentine's Day weekend, try to find some time to love yourself, physically, mentally, or spiritually. During this Valentine's weekend, share your love with others, even if that's not a romantic person. You can go hang out with a girlfriend and have a slumber party. What, haven't had that one of those in years, right? Let's go do that. Hey, maybe me and the guys just want to go out and throw dollar bills at ladies the whole night because we just want to show our love of the appreciation of our favorite, pole dancer who doesn't do a nude show. Just someone who, or maybe you do want to do that, whatever. But the point is that you gotta know what you try to find out as much as you do what you want. Sometimes you gotta take a chance. Sometimes you gotta take the bigger gulp, but also the other important is when it's finally over and done with, try to end it in as respectful a manner as you can. It doesn't always happen, but hey, that's why breakups are hard sometimes. And that's why sometimes we love to hate you. Thank you very much for joining us here today on the Josh Show. I really appreciate you putting up with my messy hair and my makeshift. I lost half of my scars I used to put on my head. I'm gonna have to go buy some more now and put them in a place where I will have them. I wear the bandana for things, but join us next week. We have an exciting interview with a band, a local folk artist. His name is Michael Spitz, and he'll be on our show next week. And if you are in the Twin Cities metropolitan area and want something fun to go do, something today, go check out my friend Nerd the King. He's doing a live event at the Terminal Bar tonight. And I just want to say MNO Life for Life, Music Network One. If you're interested in joining a Music Network professionals site that will help promote you, and if you're a musician, it's completely free. Is your business professional, there is a small fee per month, but trust me, you get that exclusive seat, and then you get to have that part. So if you're your own plumber in there, you don't have to compete with another plumber. But musicians can share ideas, can collaborate ideas. You don't necessarily want two different plumbers coming out to your house to fix one issue. Okay, hopefully they can fix the first one, can fix it the right way. Okay, all right, guys, I'll see you next week. Bye bye. And yeah, you're all like, why am I still here? Because I forgot to press the button.